The Run Lift Mom podcast is brought to you by my efforts as a ZYIA Active independent representative and partners Hello Woofy for social media, Red H Nutrition, and Audible. Audible is the newest of this lineup, and if you want to try Audible free, all you've got to do is visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom. Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're going to spend most of our time in the momming category, and I'm so excited to introduce you to a repeat guest on the Run Lift Mom podcast. Erin Bradley is the mother of 4 and also the CEO of ZYIA Active. I brought her on not only to celebrate ZYIA Active's 3rd birthday, but as a repeat because last time she was here in season 1, episode 11, you guys, the audience, you were very interested in the way that she balances her life and prioritizes her family. Listen as we discuss what her daily routine looks like, the value of face-to-face time, and how she feels about those important relationships in her life. Without further ado, Erin Bradley. All right, welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast. Erin Bradley, founder and CEO of ZYIA Active.
Thank you, Susie. Thanks for having me on today.
I am thrilled to have you on for a second time, Erin. The first time you were on this show, it was to celebrate ZYIA's 2nd anniversary, and now here we are celebrating the 3rd.
I know. Can you believe that? Like, where does the year even go? I can't even believe it.
It's been an awesome one at ZYIA Active. And I mean, if listeners haven't heard that first show, I'm going to link it in the show notes. So depending on where they're listening, they can either click details or swipe up. But I hope it's okay, Erin, this time, that show, by the way, people loved it. What they really loved was hearing you talk about striking a balance between motherhood and being a working mom. So if it's okay with you, that's actually where I want to spend the majority of our conversation today.
Absolutely. It's a balance that's tricky to find, and I think one that we all are always searching for. So I would love to talk more on that.
So our listeners were most captivated by your family rule of 6 to 8 p.m., get rid of the phones, get rid of the electronics, and connect with one another as a family. We had plenty of people say, oh, I tried this and it's working really well. I can tell you, Erin, at the Goodwin household, we are doing this now. Our hours are a little bit different. But yes. I wanted to see, here we are a year later. So your kids are a year older. How is that practice going in your family? And can you just share some of those screen-free moments, maybe your favorite screen-free moment from the last year?
Absolutely. So if there's one thing that is consistent in our lives is that nothing is consistent in the Bradley home right now. So the 6 to 8 time frame, I feel like everything we set into place, we're always trying to change and to modify, see how it works best for our family. 6 to 8 at this season in our life has gotten quite busy with soccer and tennis and dance, all these other sports. So we have kind of switched that up a little bit. But we definitely make sure that we find time to have face-to-face interactions, what we kind of like to call forced family fun. We've been really, really trying to integrate that into our family more often. And it was kind of an eye-opening experience, to be honest. It was a couple months ago, and Jeremiah came into the room, and he was like, my husband, and he's like, oh, I just want like 2 minutes of your time. You're so busy. And it kind of broke my heart. I'm like, 2 minutes. Do you really, truly not feel like I have 2 minutes to give you? And it was from that day forward, I've just switched it to where now what we really try to do, I try to make sure I have 10 minutes of uninterrupted time with every single family member. And I know it sounds funny because it's not even a lot, but it's crazy tricky to even try to get 10 minutes of uninterrupted time face to face, truly building those connections with each kid and my husband every single day. even that's tricky. And I'm doing the best I can, but I'm really trying to focus on making sure I have that face-to-face time and building those connections, building our bonds with each other, and making sure that we're building our relationships together.
Wow. I bet every listener out there that, has a spouse or a loved one in their life, their stomach is knotting up as they hear you describe Jeremiah saying, "Can I get 2 minutes?" And kind of that realization that you had. It sounds like, Erin, if I'm hearing you correctly, the 6 to 8, it's fantastic. And listeners, if you have adopted this and it's working for you, go for it. But if I'm hearing you correctly, it's like it's not about the time frame. It's about getting face-to-face interaction and quality time.
That's exactly what it is. And that's where we started the 6 to 8 off is, trying to integrate family dinners and having phone-free dinner. And that's where we were building our connections. I'm not sure what it is with the holiday season, what it is. We're just making sure we have time every single day. But yes, what I was I'm backtracking there. The holidays got a little crazy and busy. So I wasn't even home. The kids weren't home. It was hard to say, okay, phone's off. So it is more about just really trying to find that balance of building that time together and making sure that stays a priority in the family, is having those face-to-face interactions without a phone or a mobile device or something in front of your face.
And I love that so much. And obviously, that's part of a healthy lifestyle, that connection and community with others. Can you share something else, Erin, that you do on the emotional side to fill your cup?
Yeah, so obviously, what fills me emotionally goes right back to relationships and spending time with family and friends. And it was a little tricky the first year of ZYIA. I did notice that some of those suffered a little bit, and so it was finding what works and integrating that. So what I really try to do is make sure I like I said, the 10 minutes a day, that's most important. Number one on my list right now is focusing on getting 10 minutes uninterrupted time with the family. Outside of that, with friends, making sure that I do skip out of the office for twice a week and go play tennis with a group of friends. Making sure that I am still reaching out to them and building those connections. I do think it's important every single day. If nothing helps more for my emotional well-being than anything else, is probably finding time every single day to just look at all my blessings and be grateful. And if there's honestly one thing I could say that helps me be emotionally well above anything else, it is finding time every single day to just be grateful, to start our day off with a prayer. Our family ends it with a prayer, and we make sure that this is something that we do daily and just helps us refocus on the important things in life. Maybe hopefully let go of some of those things that maybe don't matter as much. But really finding time every day to be grateful and look at all the things, all the good that we are blessed with in life.
I love that. I love a great prayer practice or gratitude practice, but also I want to point out to listeners that 10 minutes it's creative problem solving. They couldn't get the 6 to 8 anymore. And so that's a really great example of creative problem solving when, hey guys, it's not about the 6 to 8, it's about the quality time. And I love, Erin, that you've done that. And as a mother of 4, I'm really inspired by that because I know our season of life will look a lot different a year, 5 years from now.
Exactly. And I do still try to incorporate the no phone rule when the kids go home from school, usually from like 4 to 6. It's changed a little bit. I wanted Jeremiah to be a part of that when he got home, but right now we still try to incorporate it, but it is normally 4 to 6. And that's a lot to do with homework and other things, but we do definitely important. The theme here is it's not so much about how you do it. It's just that you do find that time to have those connections.
For sure. So you mentioned playing tennis. That's one of the ways
Yes.
with friends, and that's one of the ways that emotionally you fill your cup. What else on the physical side? Of course, one of the pillars at ZYIA Active is activity, as well as community there. This was not a planned theme. Can you tell us about some other healthy habits that you have on the physical side?
Yes, absolutely. I do think that they usually go hand in hand, the emotional and the physical kind of feed into each other. So I do try to take care of myself physically as well. Number one, probably what I've been most consistent with for the last few years is making sure I run slash walk a mile every single day.
You're
I
streaking.
Yeah, every day. I just a lot of times it's 10 o'clock at night, and my neighbors. It's funny because I've got these little blinds right here on the side of my little home gym, and I'll have my neighbor text me like, "Oh, you're getting your mile in for the day," because they know that it's something I do. But again, it's usually a lot of times it's not till 10:30 at night when kids are in bed. But I remember hearing, and maybe I needed something impactful like this for it to stick into my memory. But I was listening to a doctor, and he said that the most important thing you could do for your heart well-being, even if there's an earthquake, is to walk a mile every single day. And maybe the whole earthquake and something tragic happening like that, it's that important that even in the midst of chaos and struggle, that it's that important to take time out of your day for your heart. And it was something that stuck with me, and I can say there have been very, very few days that I have missed that.
I
So
love it.
that's number one. And then trying to just find things for the activity that I enjoy. I do go to the gym regularly, try to get there about 4 times a week. But I'm really trying to focus on getting activity in with things that I enjoy, like tennis and biking, and just getting my body moving, and doing it with people around me that I enjoy. But I do make sure I at least get a good 20 to 30 minutes in doing that. And I would say the third thing is just one thing I'm really working on right now is just being more intuitive with my eating, and with honestly even just working out. If I feel like I need a rest day, just listening to my body more, and being more intuitive about what I put into my body, how I treat my body, has been probably the best results I've gotten is just allowing myself, like knowing yes, I can have this. I'm not going to tell myself I can't, but being intuitive about it and really thinking about what my body deserves and needs.
I love that concept. So this is going to be a link heavy episode, you guys. You're going to see a link to Erin's episode. And then you'll also see a link to an episode that I did with Steph Godrow of the Core Four. And this is where she talks about what Erin is describing here from the movement perspective. We spent a whole episode talking about intuitive movement and not just doing it because your schedule said, not punishing yourself with exercise. We hear a lot about intuitive eating, but there's, to your point, Erin, there's an intuitive movement part as well. How does your body feel? What are you up for today?
Absolutely. And I love practicing that and following that.
Yeah, I want to mention too about your streak. So, Run Lift Mom, I'm a runner. For those that thought I was calling Erin out for having no clothing on, no, that's not what I was doing. Guys, a streak is where it's defined as, and there is a U.S. running streak organization where you cover at least a mile on foot every day. And there are people that have been streaking for years. There are people that will make it an annual thing. I'm not challenging anybody out there to a streak, but I don't want to skip over the importance of consistency and making something a habit. Have you felt, Erin, I'm totally putting you on the spot here, but I mean, have you felt a change in just your overall kind of mentality or physical health as a result of these small, consistent efforts?
Oh, without a doubt. And, when I say I run a mile every day, it's a lot of times if I'm really not feeling it, I still force myself. Like you said, there's so many nights where I want to just go to bed and I think, oh, I didn't get my mile in, but I just go walk. And it just gets me moving and going, and it gets that consistency. A lot of times I try to start my day with it. so that it does set the tone and the pace for my day, gets me energized. But just to have that mental set that you're going to do it, and it doesn't matter what comes in your way, you're going to make sure that happens. If it, like I said, it can just be a very, very powerful, when it's something simple like that, a very powerful tool to even just set your day in the right direction. And when you've got those big goals, you kind of have to have that mental set that you're not going to let something get in the way, right?
Right.
So
Now,
I've definitely seen.
I'm not a CEO of a company, but I can imagine that you've got a lot of pressure at work. We mentioned that you're a mom of four. I bet life demands a lot of you once the rest of the world wakes up. So it really does make sense to do it. It's like you're doing something for yourself first thing.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
And speaking of being a mom and CEO, wow, we achieve these great habits and healthy lifestyles when we do them daily. Again, like consistency before intensity is something we like to say often here on the podcast. Can you talk to us about just what your day looks like from a really broad level as a working mom?
Yes. So I was a stay-at-home mom for the first 12 years. My daughter's almost 15 now. Different change of pace for sure once I started working and trying to do both cards here. But luckily through the past 3 years, I do feel like my days have become more consistent, and yet they're never the same. And what I mean by that is I usually do, what is consistent is I set my alarm for 6 o'clock every morning. I hit the snooze button twice without fail. So I'm usually up, I am up at 6:30 every day, have to get my middle schooler off to school by 7. That's when I usually go to the gym in a little window from 7 to 8, and I've got to be home by 8:15 to get my elementary kids ready and off to school. And then they're off by 9 o'clock, and I'm able to really focus from 9 until 2:30 on work. So those are my hours where I really give it my all. I'm at the office, and I'm really giving my full attention to work and what needs to be done there. But it has always been an important thing for me to make sure I'm still there to pick up my kids from school, and I use that word very, very flexible, dinner on the table for them at night, and do the best that I can. And then it is pretty chaotic once they get home from school with all their different sports and things going on. But it's just finding that balance. And it was tricky. And I wanted to do whatever I could to make sure I was still able to get them off to school and pick them up from school, even with starting working and running this company. So I think the greatest tool has been surrounding myself with great people that I trust and know that they, allowing myself to be able to let others help me has been something I've really had to learn over the past few years. And I feel like at a great spot right now.
I love that. Saying yes is hard for females in general, right?
Yeah.
But I love, Erin, as you were describing that, it was like the third or fourth time that you mentioned, I do my best. And I don't want to skim over the fact that, like, it sounds like you give yourself heavy doses of grace, and that allows you to be adaptable.
Oh, without fail. That has been the biggest thing to release stress from my life, has been to realize I don't need to be perfect in all areas, and that I am going to give myself a lot of grace, and I'm going to do the best I can. And if I fall short, my house isn't spotless, or I didn't get every single thing done at the office that I needed to, I really try to just prioritize at the beginning of the day. As soon as I get into the office at 9 o'clock, I prioritize what is the most important things I can get done today. And I am very good at giving myself a lot of grace. And I think it has been huge for now. I say now because that first year of ZYIA, I've come a long way. It was oh, I need to do this perfect, this perfect. And there was so much stress that I was putting on myself that I had to let go of a lot of things, or I was going to break. I found myself when I had so much high expectations on myself, it wasn't good for me or the people around me. So I have learned, and I'm still learning, to give myself a lot of grace.
Are you hearing that, listeners? Are you hearing her say, you've got to let some things go and you've got to be willing not to have everything be perfect? I'm not lecturing you. I'm reminding myself as well. Erin, thank you. Sometimes it requires hearing the picture painted by someone in a position like yours for us to give ourselves permission to do the same.
Oh, nope. It was much needed in my life. And I'm a lot happier letting go of some things that really don't matter in the long run. So,
all right. So I'm coming toward the end, but at the time of this airing, ZYIA has just turned 3 years old, which is so exciting. Can you tell us just some special things that have happened in the first 3 years?
Yeah. Oh my heck. There have been so many special things in the first 3 years. I can't believe how much has happened, how much we've compiled into 3 years. It really is just mind-boggling to me. But probably the three that stand out most to me would be, number one, that very first summit. So, 2 years ago, had the first summit for ZYIA Active up in Park City. And it was the first time that I really got to see the reps, build connections, but more importantly, hear about how ZYIA was changing their lives and the things that it was now allowing for their family to be able to do, and release some pressures, and allow them to do more activities. And that, there were some really, really neat experiences that people shared with me. So that is one. And I add you, there were 25 people in their room. So to look back and just to think about how much faith it took those people to continue to push ZYIA forward, it really is a summit I'll never forget, and one that will be in the books forever. That was an incredibly special occasion. And then, gosh, getting into a warehouse was incredibly special. So we started out in our home, and then we moved into a small warehouse, and then eventually we ended up having 5 warehouses right next to each other. And we are now in the process of building out a 70,000 square foot warehouse space, and then there will be some offices there. And that was really rewarding to really look back and see the progression of it. And you started building this warehouse, so that's been a really neat, special thing to look forward to and to look back on. And just the other day, I guess, looking at the goals that we have set in, like, business wise for the next few years, we pulled out our projection sheet for when we started the company. And I add that our projections were very modest, but still looking at our projections we did a 10-year projection when we first started ZYIA, and looking that over, it was just a really special thing to see that in year 2, we had already met the projections for year 8.
Wow.
So that was kind of a fun thing to look back on and reminisce, and just think about how much we still have to grow and how much we still have to improve and to continue adding people to our ZYIA family. There's so many special moments ahead, and looking back at all the trips we've taken together, we've compiled a lot in the last 3 years, a lot of special memories and moments. But what's really awesome is looking to the future and knowing how many more of those are ahead of us is something that I really, really look forward to.
Yes, it's beyond exciting. Wow. Well, happy 3rd birthday to ZYIA. Erin, to wrap us up, I'm going to take you through a this or that. Now, this is going to be like quick draw McGraw. I'm just going to say 2 things, and I want you to say the preference that comes to mind. I understand there's going to be context here. Spoiler alert, this does have to do with ZYIA. So we understand that, that context matters. But for you personally, I want to take you through just a few. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. And audience, listeners, you can't get mad at Erin. These are her personal preferences. Just like if you went through the same one, can't get mad at you or me. Okay.
Thank you, Susie, for protecting me on that.
All right, let's go. Plum or wine?
Wine.
All right. Light and tight or brilliant?
Light and tight.
Blush pink or hot pink?
Blush pink.
Copper charge or mesh?
Mesh. Bomber
jacket or pro trainer jacket?
Oh, this one's so hard. Let's go with the trainer jacket.
You are a woman after my own heart that it threw you off.
That's a tough one.
It is. Erin, I want to thank you so much, not only for coming here to celebrate ZYIA's 3rd birthday, but also for giving me personally the platform to have this podcast. At the time of our recording, I'm at over 30,000 downloads. I really feel like I'm uplifting other women, including our ZYIA family, through this platform. And if it weren't for ZYIA, I wouldn't have that. And I want to thank you personally.
Well, you are indeed uplifting a whole lot of people, and we can all feel your spirit, your energy, and we thank you for giving that to us.
Erin, I'm going to put all your good links below so folks can find you and learn about ZYIA. And thank you again for coming on Run Lift Mom.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me be here, Susie.
Now, while Erin and I respectfully disagree on the choice of pink, y'all know I think it should be hot pink every single time, we agree on the importance of that FaceTime, the need to be adaptable and willing to roll with change, and then also the priority that you place on your emotional and mental health. Erin Bradley, happy birthday, ZYIA, 3rd birthday. Thank you so much for coming on this show and being a guest for the 2nd time. Until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. All right, I've got Katie Danger with Red H Nutrition. Katie, we know that good health starts in the gut. Can you tell me a little bit about adaptogenic symbiotic?
Yeah, I'm going to reiterate your point, Susie. Health starts in the gut, and that's why the adaptogenic symbiotic is so important. It's complete digestion support. We've got the 3 most abundant gut flora for the probiotics. So we've got 6 billion CFUs, colony-forming units. We have a prebiotic fiber, which helps feed those probiotics so they can do the job they need to do. And then we also have invertase included, which helps with any bloating and gas and indigestion you may be experiencing. So we've got this proactive approach and we've got the reactive approach. So if anybody's experiencing any gas, bloating, or just wants additional digestive support, the adaptogenic probiotic is the all-in-one solution for that.
Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, but Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. You guys, I'm thrilled to announce a new partner on Run Lift Mom, and that is Audible. I've been an Audible member for over 10 years, and my favorite part, hands down, it's the gift of time. I use the free app to take notes as I'm doing my long run and I hear something fantastic, and you are going to love it. If you want to try Audible free, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom. That's RUNLIFTMOM. Again, for a free trial, visit audibletrial.com/runliftmom. Thank you for listening to the Run Lift Mom podcast. What started as a passion project in February 2019 now has over 60,000 downloads and over 400 listens each day. It is amazing, and I know it is because of you, dear listener. I want to thank you for your ratings, reviews, and subscriptions. All you have to do is take a screenshot of your rating or your subscription. If you've already done it, clearly this is fair game. Take a screenshot and go to newreleasewednesday.com. That's newreleasewednesday.com. That's going to put you in a drawing for a free ZYIA Active outfit, top and bottom piece, valued at over $100. Newreleasewednesday.com. Show me where you have rated and subscribed, and I'm going to get you in that drawing. Thank you so much for making this passion project possible.